Hi everyone, I hope you're safe and well wherever you are, and I hope you've had a wonderful Easter break. Thank God we're out of lockdown with some restrictions still applying. Thank you so much for all your support and kind messages and phone calls. Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to the Polish radio here in Brisbane for having me on their show. The link is in the description. I do apologize, it is in Polish only. So if you do want to have a listen, please go ahead. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share to this channel as I bring you more updates and more videos in the future. Now, the annual general meeting of the Polonia Polish Club is tomorrow, Tuesday the 6th of April at 2 p.m. So I remind you, please come support the Polish community, vote if you can, turn up in numbers, but again, please remain calm. We need this meeting to go ahead peacefully. The OFT, Office of Fair Trading, have acknowledged that they will be sending a couple of people to observe the meeting to make sure it is carried out in accordance with the constitution and the rules as well. So please come and support the Polish Club. I received an email with the notice of the annual general meeting with several reports as well, like the Treasurer's reports, the President's reports, a letter of support as well. And I'd like to go over these, but obviously there's a lot of information here, and it's not available on the Polonia website. I've gone in there and have a look, even though sometimes they have very small letters and it's very hidden. I still had a look and I couldn't find it there. So I'll go through it here right now and let you know what I think of it. I'll make a couple of videos of it because it is very long. So we'll start with the Treasurer's report. And I do apologize, I'm going to speak a little bit fast because there's a lot of pages here. So this is in regards to the treasurer of the Polonia committee, which is Teresa Pokój, the current treasurer. From bitter personal experience, I can say that I am now fully aware that descendants of post-war Poles who do not speak Polish are not welcome on these premises. Wrong. Very, very wrong. And I'll just explain why in a minute. Believe me, it is hard to take. One would think that being citizens of this land, reaping the benefits and taking advantage of all this country has to offer, we should be encouraged to use the language of the land, which in our case is English. When my parents, as thousands of others, arrived in these shores in 1949, they were so privileged as enjoyed by migrants today. Nothing was free, you had to earn your living, there were no English lessons, and we had to do it all in our own time. My parents, as many who have experienced the trauma of war, were well aware that one day we children would have to earn our own living. Knowing the language in an adopted country was therefore paramount, and my parents therefore decided that we all would speak English at home. All right, well look, the reason for this is because there was a post on Polonia's Facebook page that said that we should only speak English in Polonia, and because this is the language of the land, and that caused a lot of issues because obviously Poles are a very proud people, especially with our language. And although it's okay not to speak it to the full extent, it is important to acknowledge it and respect it and be able to have some sort of Polish representation at the Polish club, because it is the Polish club, not the English club. So I can see why you've written this, but you are so wrong on so many levels. You're not the only one that came out here after post-war Poland. So did we. We came out here in post-communist Poland, which was also in disarray. To this day, Poland is not the best country in the world, but it is getting there. As my previous video said, Poles are a very proud people. We stand up for ourselves, especially our language as well. So, however, despite these hard times and lack of money, many of the migrants, including my parents, participated in building these premises, offering physical and financial support. Yep, many of them did. I personally have taken Polish lessons for quite a few years, have visited Poland at least 8 times, understand, read, write and speak basic Polish, but unfortunately not all at the levels required in order to deliver this report, this Treasurer's report today. So I disagree with that completely, because I came out here when I was 11, therefore my language level was a grade 5 level in Poland. So very basic. I probably couldn't write this in Polish myself, but there are so many Polish people here that could, and you could have reached out for help, for translation. You could have also sent it to Poland, to any of your friends, family members that do speak English, or hired a service that translates for you as well. They don't cost a lot. To translate this report could have cost probably $50, which is petty money compared to the $90,000 wasted on solicitors. So I disagree with the statement completely that you could have had this report in Polish. When in October 2019, the then treasurer resigned and the need arose, I offered my services as caretaker treasurer only until the next AGM. And then the next part goes into some sort of a cover letter or an explanation of what you did in the past 25 years. Great, thank you for telling us your history. It basically highlights that, yes, you are the right person to be the treasurer. Firstly, despite many efforts to contact the former treasurer, I was not given any handover whatsoever, yet though she resigned in October 2019, she somehow continued to do the job into February 2020. So for another 5 to 6 months, she continued to do her job, but she didn't receive a handover. So couldn't you have spoken to her, find out what she was doing? And then obviously it says here, and continued to be involved doing, I do not know what. Some called it meddling. That's a very big accusation. You're saying that the previous treasurer was meddling in the affairs of the Polish club? How? What? When? What did she do? Why didn't you say this out loud? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is getting really, really weird that obviously you're now starting to throw accusations out for the past two years. And we now have to hear about it today. It's very, very strange. Secondly, in March 2020, because of COVID-19, I was required to deal with the following: JobKeeper, implementing Menulog, dealt with the accounting software MYOB, swapping it to Xero, which is cheaper and better, property and personal insurance of Polonia, which was very understated. Thirdly, I had to deal with the ATO dating back to 2016, when the treasurer of the day removed the paid bookkeeper, and then discrepancies meant that we had to pay a fine of $18,000, and this will now be paid over 18 months. This is fine. Look, this sort of stuff happens, unfortunately. It is what it is. Last but not least, although not even part of the treasurer's role, I had to reassess Polonia's building insurance and personal liability insurance. It was hugely understated for the previous years, as the upgrades of the premises founded by all the grants obtained by our President Langford were not taken into account. Well, let's just see here. So all these grants that obviously Alice Langford got were not taken into account, which you should have done. But on top of that, you're now saying that obviously $90,000 that was spent on solicitors and wasted on it, is that taken into account as well? Is that what the grant money was meant to be spent on? Does the government know about this? Are they aware of this? It's very, very interesting. On January 17th this year, I was handed an auditor's report for Polonia's finances 18 and 19, in which the auditor expressed his dissatisfaction with Polonia's accounts, and he made the following observation: bank account reconciliations were not reviewed, petty cash was in the negative, employees' pay rates were not correct since 2016, employee superannuation was always overdue, insurance was underpaid. I have fixed this now. The accounting system MYOB was not rolled over incorrectly from the previous years, as well as it came to any attention that no leave accruals nor sick leave were registered since 2007, and that super rates have not been correctly assessed since 2014. Who were the auditors of the past who signed off the financial reports? Well, you know this, because it's all there on record, so more blame. Since Mrs. Podbrabezna retired as secretary in 2020, I took upon myself to fix the membership list, as it was in total disarray because of the original Polonia membership book, which was of irreplaceable value, was nowhere to be found. All records were and are lost. I encountered many problems, some of which are as follows. So first of all, lies. Because the Polonia membership book actually is a live access database, which I created and is password protected. It's also sitting on the servers at Polonia at multiple account levels. It's been emailed around to several committee members as well. So the actual books do exist. So I don't believe you. And many member application forms did not exist. To whom they were sent, nobody knows. Member application payments were made by applicants into bank account with no membership forms and thus no address or details. This was the reason for the closure of the bank account. Lies. Because I have here a check from Polonia to my parents, giving them a refund on their membership card. So how did you receive a address and details of this person, since you're saying you didn't have an application form? Lies. My parents gave you an application form with all their details on it, including address. So you're sending a check back from a personal bank account, taking away GST and the price of registered mail to send this check. Explain that, Miss Treasurer. So membership application forms were upgraded to meet the requests and recommendations of others, and due to COVID-19, the committee extended all memberships to June 2021. But you said you didn't know who the members were. So how are you extending memberships if you don't know who the members are? I tried to sort out the recognitions bestowed on members who served the distinction, honorary or lifelong, as it was pointed out to me that members received the incorrect ones, and that was detrimental to them. Please refer to the Constitution. For this, I was accused and abused because someone somewhere spread the rumor that everyone had to justify their recognition or give it up, and nothing was further from the truth. Okay. In November 2020, I was checking all the accounts. Another issue arose its ugly head. I found that Polak, though it was a great festival, its astronomical expenditure nevertheless came at a great cost to Polonia. The donations, totaling $160,000 and placed in an emergency trust fund by the foundation members, were withdrawn and used to finance the renovation of Polonia over and above the grant produced by Alice, the president, as the building was considered to be by the committee not to be good enough in which to hold the festival. Unfortunately, the then treasurer withheld all financial information, and then withdrawn money was never returned into the trust accounts. It just disappeared. Okay, this is where I cannot believe a single word that it says here, because if this was the case, why haven't you launched an investigation with the right authorities? Why haven't you communicated this to the Polish people when it occurred? The open and transparency, which I constantly talk about in my vlogs, why haven't you done that? Maybe people wouldn't be upset with you if you were just open and transparent and told us what was going on. If this is true, and we're not talking about $1,000, $2,000 that's gone missing, we're talking about $160,000 that you're saying the previous treasurer somehow cooked the books, or in some way or another, because it says here, unfortunately, the then treasurer withheld all the financial information. Withdrawn money was never returned into the trust account. It just disappeared. That's a huge allegation. Where are the authorities involved in this? Wow. I mean, if someone took $160,000 from me and never returned it without receipts for spending on all of this, I would definitely be asking some questions and probably involving some authorities. On top of that, I've been to the Polish club. It doesn't look like $160,000 was spent on renovations. Where are the receipts, the reports, all this sort of stuff? Like, there should be a huge report on the renovations that occurred. All these amazing treasurer reports and president's reports and all this. Where is the report of the work that you've done and the costs associated with it, labor hire, all this sort of stuff? A lot of Polish people came and donated their labor. So I have devoted such a great deal of time in my busy life in order to help and rectify the errors I found in the Polonia accounting system and in management. Yet in the emails to me, I was unjustly derided and accused of all kinds of terrible things, and on Facebook, I was trolled, bullied and harassed. And in this very club, ever late, at the 13th of March 21, I was abused and harassed by Miss Hess. This was not the first time. This incident on 13th of March was reported to Polonia's management, the police and Polonia's arbitration. That was my reward for the work I undertook and management to complete. Again, I think you need to look up the definition of harassment, because Miss Hess is a very smart person and she recorded this this altercation with you. And it looks like the other way around. Now, I'm not going to show the video because it's obviously invasion of privacy, but I have seen the video. She calmly asked you what's going on with the membership list. She's kindly asked you why aren't you answering emails. The whole time you've refused to answer. Then your partner or husband, I don't know who it is, pushed right through Miss Hess, knocking her, which is, well, could be assault. Then told her to back off, told her not to be in the club. He then questioned her whether she was Polish, and she answered, yes, I am. And then she answered back, are you Polish? And he goes, no, I'm not. But then he says, are you a member? And she goes, well, no, because I can't be. Then he goes, what are you doing here? You should leave. He goes, well, I'm sorry, but I think you should have left. So you are wrong, treasurer, on so many levels. On this very stage in the 70s, I performed at many Polonia's concerts, and I was of the belief that I would again enjoy my time at Polonia's. And then she goes on to tell us all her little resume stories, pretty much a LinkedIn profile right here of what she's achieved. It is interesting to note that though I only offered my services as a caretaker treasurer till the next AGM, you have not welcomed me. then you should have left a long time ago. Thus, I will adhere to my promise and now happily pull the plug and bid you farewell in saying goodbye. I wish you all nothing but the very best. Well, again, so I'm sorry this video took a very long time, but here's my very quick analysis to it. It's full of crap. Checks from personal bank accounts, missing memberships, Crimea River, being harassed, all this sort of stuff. I mean, if you knew this was going on and you were not welcome there, why did you stay? What was the purpose? I keep saying this. What was your motivation to stay on, to help out and all this sort of stuff? Well, and why weren't you open and transparent about it? Why didn't you answer emails, all these sort of things? You said you're taking care of the membership, but nothing has still come out about it. People can't join. No one is allowed to join. People receive personal checks when they did try to join. So again, you're telling us all this little sob story here about how unhappy you are with the way you've been treated, and you're blaming everyone for the problems, including $160,000 going missing, but you haven't told us a single solution. And the biggest part is you haven't told us what the books are at right now. Is the club in a difficult financial position, and is going to be able to maintain for the new committee that comes in? You haven't said a single word that is helpful to the Polonia people here in Brisbane. This is a very, very strange letter, and I'm more confused and I have more questions than I have answers. Again, thank you for your time. Please subscribe, like and share this video. Again, the meeting is tomorrow. Be calm, be present. Let's get our club back. The interview that I did on the radio is in the description. Also in the description, to support my channel, there is a link to buy me a coffee. You can literally go and buy me a coffee and support our channel as well. Again, thank you so much for all the kind messages, and I hope to see you soon. I will do another video in regards to the President's letter. That's going to be even longer because that's 5 pages of ranting. So, hope to see you soon.